Welcome to the Fifth Trooper Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Fifth Trooper Podcast.
I was trying to burp, but I couldn't, and I kind of hurt myself. So, hey guys, it's Evan.
And this is new and improved Jay for 2020.
So he's going to stay like this for the next year of podcast.
That is correct.
All right, see if you can go through the whole episode with it.
I can't even go through
Yeah, all right, it's
a
over.
minute.
It's
It's
done.
30 seconds in and I'm done.
It's over.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back. This episode is marking the new year as we celebrate 2020 on January 1st.
So what are you doing for New Year's?
We are going somewhere.
Okay. Fair. I'm going to a party that had an undernote of wear 20s clothing, right? Like, because it's 19.
Oh, yeah.
The 2020s, but I feel like I might be one of 3 people who do. So I'll show up in
Just
like
do it. A zoot suit?
No, I'm gonna do it. Like, even if I'm the only one,
Yeah.
like, hell, I went to my Christmas. So quick note, yes, I'll be wearing 20s clothes because I love to meet them dressing up. But so my Christmas party, White Elephant, I went to, I ordered a ugly sweater from Amazon, and instead of getting the Boba Fett ugly sweater, they sent me Jesus birthday socks.
Oh.
And they were gonna act like I wasn't getting my refund until I had to like push him back for it. So I was in a panic because it was the same day as a party that I realized I got the wrong thing. Went to Target. The only ugly sweaters they had were like small, medium, and I'm a extra large kind of boy. So panic again, and then I saw a onesie Chewbacca, a suit. So purchased and worn to an ugly sweater party.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, that's I danced that thing.
This was years and years and years ago. I had the same problem where I couldn't get a sweater in time. And so I had this Darth Vader like knitted sweater, and I just like basically sewed a Santa hat to the top of his
Nice.
head on the sweater.
Perfect.
Like a quick sew. Like
Yeah.
I'm not good at that, but like just like
Please,
tie it off. Yeah, and then, oh my god, it stayed. Okay, great. And then went to the party.
So I went right from the comic store because a couple my friend Jeff and his friends came up to play Legion that day. So I put it on the comic store, and I went to the booze store right next to the place, like wearing this thing. And I'm like, I don't buy alcohol that much, so I'm like,
be fine.
yeah, I'm like wearing this, and I'm like, yo, I gotta go to a party. Please help me. Is cracking good? I don't know. And she's like, it's fine. Then I went to a gas station wearing that thing. I'm like, I need ice. You know what do you got? So I did a tour in an ugly Wookiee.
Love it.
Wookiee
Onesie.
outfit.
Yeah,
onesie.
I love it. So for those of you who listen to our holiday specials on our episode in Scoundrels, I hope you enjoyed those. We had a lot of fun, clearly. You could hear that in our voices. Yeah, that was...
Who was the name of the elder chief of the Ewoks?
Yeah.
Silence. I don't even remember what the answer was. So
Me neither. Throw Dan or...
yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I thought. Well, so what had happened? A little peek behind the curtains. When I had done the Luke Eddie, Alex Davey one, like they were just like
Firing it off.
boom, 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 and I had like I had wanted to do easier questions because I wanted it to go fast and
Sure.
I wanted them to have a good time. But then they were just like getting all of them like so quick and so fast. I was like, okay, I mean, we have to be equal or bigger nerds than they are. So
Yeah.
I'm like, let's make this a little harder. And then when I did that,
Oof.
yeah, it went south real quick.
And like every other question was like Obi-Wan Kenobi was the answer.
Yeah, and so like I had to I switched it up. So what I had done, I had all these fill in the blank questions. So then I actually went to this Star Wars trivia game that I have. I don't have the full game, I just have the cards. I think it's Trivial Pursuit, but just cards. And they have the ABCD on there, so I was like, all right, let's switch to these. And start giving you guys choices. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. It sounded like everybody had a good time, and
No, that was good.
but yeah, so that was cool, and we hope that if you celebrate whatever holiday you celebrate, that if you get presents, that you got what you wanted for Legion. Like it looked like a lot of people got some cool stuff for Legion, so that's good. And yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And now it's 2020. So let's see. On this episode, I'd like to talk about, well, I'd like to talk about the fact that, Evan, you have a problem.
Oh, a problem with what? I have many problems. So what's the one you're addressing?
You know the problem I'm addressing. Come on.
Uh,
Come on, Evan. Come on, Evan.
Let's see. Let's go through the list.
No, we have a Prime coming up on
Oh yeah.
January 11th.
Okay.
I think you have a list. Do you think you're going to fine-tune it at all?
Nope. No, I can talk about that. That's
Okay.
So I've made a Hoth theme list. I wrote an article about it a while ago, but I've actually kind of fine-tuned it to a point where I really like it now. I call it Easy Company, E for
Okay.
Echo Base.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally not used in every war movie ever, but all right, I like it. So, it's Leia, no upgrades. So it turns out if you take units without upgrades, sometimes they work just as good. Leia, no upgrades. 3 sets of Rebel vets with the CMO1 cannon. They're a heavy gun.
Yep.
At the top of my head, I don't remember that one, but it's the 4 white dice, critical 2.
Yep.
Turns out every time you throw, you can usually get at least 2 over cover,
Yep.
even without name. That's
Yep.
pretty good. The 2 Mark II emplacement guns that they come with, like they're equivalent to the mortars. 2 sets of Tons with HQ uplink, 1 airspeeder, and 1 1.4 cannon.
Yeah, I've played against it variations of it
Yeah,
twice
yeah.
now. It's good.
It's starting to get like more
It's a good
refined
list.
and more
Yeah.
refined, and now I only have a 2-point bid, but most of my units can move around the battlefield pretty okay. So I kind of don't care about the bid as much. I know and being red player means I kind of get to dictate something. So the worst part about Legion, right, is if the blue player wants something, they can just dig to it, right? Or the red player wants something, they can just dig to it. One of those 3, they will get that last card if they really want it. So that's a bummer, because there's some objectives I just do not want. Like,
Yeah.
Long March, don't generally like, because you can get things overextend a little bit there. I really don't like Recover the Supplies, because I don't have a hero, like I don't have a Sabine or Luke or Vader that can
Yeah.
take a box and just not die. So that's the thing you got to be worried about. But most everything else I'm okay with, like everything. So besides those 2,
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm in list limbo. I have no idea. I've been trying all kinds of different lists out. I am officially off of dewbacks. I don't think that they're bad. They're just missing something right now. And what has happened in, I don't know, 10 games that I've had with them, there's just this hump. And I think anybody who plays somewhat competitively or even plays enough locally in their local shop knows, like, sometimes there's a hump you can't get over with certain lists. And the dewbacks are generally close. Like, it comes down to the wire, but there's nothing. It doesn't seem to hold out through the whole.
Yeah, the problem was, I think when we played, we had some wicked dice variants a few times where I just could not kill it. Like, I'd put my whole army into it, and then you're just like, these things are amazing, right? And you roll up and you're like 6 hits on 3 whites and 3 reds, and they're just like flying. But when the dice started to like average out,
Right.
I think you start seeing like, well, sometimes they die in like 2 shots if things go not great, right? Especially if anyone's got impact, because unfortunately Armor 1's real good, but impact makes them sad, right? Because they can just here's
Right.
2 hits, 2 crits.
Yeah, and I like them still. I just I don't know, maybe with some of the newer stuff coming out in the next couple months they'll get a little bit better, but for right now I just don't think I just don't know.
I mean, it's fine. Like I've played this Hoth list for like 3 months. Like every time I've played a version of this until I've gotten it down to where I think it's what I like. Like it's to the point where everything fits just right. Unfortunately, Wedge, the best pilot in the galaxy, had to go, mostly because I wasn't using him a whole lot.
Right.
And so 5 points, like I had to find room for that. I'm actually fully painting this squad. I want to even do a display board for him too. So you can bring a display board, for those new, is like you put, you make a theme army, or you make an army, you paint them all how you like them, like a company, and then you build like a little scene for them, and then you put them on a board, and it works as 2 things. One, so you can carry all your army and your stuff around on a board, and you're not like hodgepodging it together, right? And 2, when they do like a painting, I'm not winning a painting contest, but it makes it look like it adds to that, right? Like it kind of adds to the whole like theme. And I mean, Hoth is like snow and metal. There's
Right.
snow, rock, and metal. That's the only thing you ever see in Hoth, right? It's miserable. So turns out you can just throw snow and rock on the ground and boom, we got a
Yeah,
Hoth.
you're good to go.
Like when I'm basing my units, I just found it's the Games Workshop technical Valhallan Blizzard, I think it's called.
Mhm.
Man, you know, it's
Good, isn't it?
yeah, it's really good. People tell me, well, it's the same thing as doing pure baking soda and Elmer's glue, and that's cool. But I don't have the time,
Right.
because when I get to paint is like, you're like not a whole lot, and so
Yeah.
and I could just dump it out. And I even bought that dumb scraper that GW makes. I was trying to work without it, but it was $8, and it's just a piece of. It's like a cell phone opener, and I have those, but mine are just too. Anyway, it's fine. I begrudgingly bought it. But man, like, I'm actually really happy with the way everything's coming out. So if you base your models and you have units that have arcs, please make the arcs very visible, because that's
Yep.
real obnoxious to me when they're like just the tips of the edge. And I get your base looks real cool with it all
Right.
covered, and I do appreciate it. Like on Tauntauns, you can get away with not having arcs because they don't really care.
Right.
Or Dewbacks, they don't really care. But on like my airspeeder, I made sure that my front and backs are, even though I'm not using a
those
back
Mark,
gun.
Mark
yeah, just,
2s or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, the Mark II blasters, the fronts are very open. My gun, so it's like with my 1.4 cannon, the only arc that matters is the front. So I made sure those are very like seeable. I really appreciate that when people do that, because then people bring out these like plastic doodads and things that put
Right.
them down, and I'm like, well, that's like it's because sometimes it comes down to like I can see Leia's toenail, and I got it in my arc. Like
Right.
I'd rather just have that.
Yeah, that's something because I don't think sometimes people don't even do it on purpose, right?
No,
like
no,
they're
I don't
like
think
basing.
it's malicious or anything. It just
they're
looks
like
cool, yeah.
Yeah, they're like basing, and then all of a sudden it dries, and they're like, oh no.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I can't tell you how many things I've not paid attention to where the movement little dock is, and I've just put like when I first made the Tauntauns, I put them on like sideways, and I'm like, oh no. So I had to like, and when that one Tauntaun foot in the ground, you wouldn't think
Yeah.
the glue holds that. It was getting desperate. I was like, had an X-Acto blade. I was like sawing. I'm like, please come back. I don't want to buy another Tauntaun. So
Yeah.
I fixed that. Or my first E-Web I bought, I'd come back from the store, and I was tired, and I was watching a movie, and I was building it, and I put it on sideways again. So I'm like, oh gosh, darn it. So it sits in my shelf. That's maybe why I've never used an E-Web, because it's just the one I have is
Yeah.
not right.
That's funny.
But no, I like it. It's a thematic list that does well. It's not doubling down on anything that feels real gamey. And it's fun to play against, because there's like, you're dealing against so many things, and you have, even though I don't have snipers, like, turns out airspeeder can go and kill snipers and do it, do whatever it wants. So it's got a good balances to it. I don't know. I just think it's fun. Honestly, Jay, just find a list that you think is fun, man. Like, end of the day, that's the 5th Trooper thing, right? Like, just a list that's fun and does okay. Like,
Yeah. No, I understand that. I'm just still struggling. Like,
no, I get it. Because if you're not having fun with them, then
well, fun, but also like, I need things to speak to me. Like, I know like a lot of guys can take whatever and can be decent at it, but for me, it has to talk to me on some level.
No, sure.
Otherwise, I just can't wrap my head around it, and I get all like wonky in my head. And so, I'm just trying to find, I don't know, I think I've tested out 3 different lists since I abandoned the
least,
dues,
yeah.
at least 3. And I'm just trying to test them out and
honestly,
see what feels best to me.
we kind of talked about this before off air. That list you won the RPQ with, nothing's really changed. you
yeah,
know,
Tons are the only thing that.
And I think you had double Death Troopers, Krennic.
So it was middle.
beaters.
Yeah, it was middle management. I think I had 2 I think sniper increase happened since then too.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, the price increase, but it was two snipers, death troop. Maybe it was 3 snipers.
Yeah,
I
think
don't
it was
remember.
3.
Middle management, 3 snipers, death troopers, and then storms.
Yeah, just like Storms with DLTs.
Yeah,
and
2 death
I think you had a
troopers.
heal bot or 2. You actually fit a lot in
Yeah.
there because nothing was really all that
Right.
expensive. But that was real good, and not
Yeah.
a whole lot's changed. And you know what Tauntauns really hate? Standby. They don't like standby
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
Right? If they get if you're facing Tauntauns, they got them running at you. If you're AKA a clone player, hint, standby, passing those around makes Tauntauns very sad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I don't know. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
still
it's-
working through stuff, and we have the Prime on the 11th, and then how many of us? 4 or 5 of us from the Fifth Trooper Network will be at LVO.
Yep.
We'll be streaming LVO, so you guys at home can watch LVO live. We'll be streaming that, and so we'll be there. So, but I'm playing. We're all actually playing on different days, so we're gonna have different people streaming. But I kind of want to be ready for that too. You know, I wouldn't mind just the practice, but also getting a free plane ride.
Yeah, right.
to
That'd
Chicago.
That'd be pretty good.
That wouldn't be bad, and all the cool prizes,
considering
right?
how many of us go.
See,
right?
that's.
Like,
I'm glad they changed their mind on the invites getting passed down because now I can go and I don't because the prize support is so cool. Like I don't feel bad
You
like
don't have
going
this-
for the prize
you
support.
should never have a moral dilemma of like wanting to go play a game, and
Right.
I all those arguments against the burning, I don't want to hear it. Like, look, man, when I go, and if me and my friend and I, sorry, get top 2.
You damn raccoon.
Yeah, no, I just give me the garbage.
You treat the English language like a garbage can that's just in your way to food.
More garbage. We get the top 2. I already have an invite.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. It should just pass. Or like
Right.
even not your friend. Like another guy comes up. Like when I went to play, when I got mine, like Luke Cook. We both went forward. Luke Cook got it. He's a world champion.
Right.
Like, okay, so like, what am I supposed to do? Like, he got it, and if it burned, it'd be, oh, I guess I didn't get mine because the world champion wanted to play too. So
Right.
I guess I'll go sit down now. Right. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing I could have done to affect that. Right.
Right,
Like
right.
I couldn't have played any. Right. It was all determined by the computer who I played and how it worked out. So we both played our best, and the computer said he did better because he fought better opponents. Fine, but he's also the world champion. Right. Like so that would have felt terrible. Like
Right.
right. Like a lot of people who have these opinions of the invites also have invites.
Yeah.
Right. So it's, to me, that's like, look, man, just pass them down. Who cares? Not everyone's going to be able to go.
Right.
I know people just like, it's cool to even to say, hey, I was an invitee. Right.
Yeah.
You
to
get the
say I
card,
got the
yeah.
invite to World.
Yeah, man. Like I'm lucky enough to go because it's one of the few things I can like plan for. But man, I know
Right.
you got kids, you got like
Yeah.
life, man. Sometimes things come up, but
Well, yeah, and it's interesting too because you know, like I said, the prize support is
It's
becoming
dope.
better,
Yeah, it's really
right?
good.
And so you're like, well, I want that prize support. Okay, I already have a Prime, but or a RPQ at the time, you know, and
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
still want to go. So, anyway, so I'll be at the Prime. I'll be playing. We have LVO.
when is LVO?
January 20 some or other.
Because I was looking, we've got LVO, and then there's the Hooded Goblins is doing an event with a premium kit on. Let me check.
January 24th, 25th, and 26th.
That's LVO.
Yeah.
24th, 26th. Let me check their thing. But I know Hooded Goblins doing one. There's 2 that month.
And then what? There's one February 8th or something, or 2nd?
That's February 8th is our local store. February 2nd is Millennium Games.
Sunday? They're doing that on a
I'm
Sunday?
sorry, February 1st.
Okay, I was going to say.
February
ooh.
1st. And then Hooded Goblin has an event. It's a premium prize kit event on the 18th of January.
With an invite?
No, just premium. So dice.
Oh,
I'm assuming. 'Cause it says premium kit, so
okay.
I'm assuming dice.
All right, so yeah, and then oh, hey, so an announcement: we're streaming Worlds, people. So
yeah.
the Fifth Trooper Network will be at Adepticon streaming the Legion World Championships. That'll be all on our YouTube network. So subscribe today so you can get notifications of all that. So that's pretty cool.
That's real cool, actually.
It's super cool.
I mean, you know, this year we learned a lot from last year. Because man, like we went crazy last year, but we kind of needed to. It was our first year on the scene, right? Like to show, and we're like Legion was still new, and like we had great setup, but that was a lot of work picking it up and taking it down, and like.
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do it. I have to work with Adepticon and FFG for like space and what they're planning on, but we'll be there streaming, so whatever that may be, which is super cool.
I just my point was like we're getting better at it, right? Like every time we do it, we get better and a little more streamlined, and like the setup is not like we don't have to get there a day right ahead of time to like get everything out, and like it was
Yeah,
just-
that was crazy.
We're learning now, right? Like that was a
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we the first Adepticon, we basically brought like a studio, TV studio with us, but we're getting more streamlined. So, but yeah, that'll be interesting. So if you're gonna be at LVO or Adepticon, come say hi. We encourage you to hit any of these primes that we'll be at. So come say hi to us there. I know this one on the 11th at Just Games in Rochester. By the way, great store.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be packed. I'm really excited. So
Yeah.
if you want to come out, you want to challenge. If you already have your invite, and you wanna see what some of the competition looks like, I think there's going to be a lot of high level
I think
competition
the cooks are
there.
going to be there.
Yep.
So they've each got one. I know a couple of their friends are coming. They each got one.
Yeah.
So the trickle down could be like 7th place or something.
Yeah, or further, depending on
yeah.
how many people come.
Yeah,
So.
but I mean that's fine, right? Like it's
Yeah.
cool. So man, I would hate to be like a local guy who's really good, and you go and they didn't do the trickle down, and like top 6 are guys who already like won. You're like, oh, cool. Well, I'll just lay down under this table. Thanks.
Yeah, but they're doing it, so that's good. And so there's that. As of you listening to this, we will have our Patreon promotion there for the Evan the Raccoon sticker will be over. It ended on the 31st. Thank you for everyone that joined, and please, if you are a Patreon member, can you please update your address in the Patreon system so I can mail you your sticker. Other than that, let's see, mats are due in. They're in port. They're in the warehouse right now. So they should be scheduling the truck shipment to us, I don't know, any day now. So hopefully the mats will be in, and so that'll be good. I think actually I might have just gotten an email on that. Let me see.
Oh, this is
breaking news, everyone. Let's see. Shipment.
Hot off the press.
Yeah, I don't know. It
It
didn't really say. So, anyways, it's sorry guys. No, so our shipment is due in any time now, like in the next week or so. So we'll be able to get those out. So that's all that stuff. If you haven't seen, we have a plethora of writers writing for our blog. So there's tons of content coming out. Evan, I believe you have one coming up this week, buddy. So
oh god,
just
sure.
Yeah, I think you got one Thursday or Friday. So
okay,
write that. And so
so do that. You know what? I've
Rogue
actually
versus Rouge.
Rogue. Oh my gosh.
So
weird flex, but okay. So I've actually been thinking about making a tier list of Evan's tier list of how I see units in the game. So maybe that'll be my topic.
I like it.
I made a hot take one. Spoiler: the only 2 things I think are not real. I did it just for Rebels. So the only things I think are really not great currently in an 800 point format now, because I have to say specifically that.
Yeah.
Are like fleets and Wookiees.
Yeah.
I think those are the only 2 things in Rebels that are currently not unplayable, but you have to either be real passionate about that, like fleets are my favorite guys from Rebels, so I'm playing them, or play on some godlike line of sight blocking tables, and those I don't think are always particularly fun, because I think you hurt as much as a Rebel player. I'm like, yeah, lots of line of sight blocking, or a clone player. I'm like, yeah, let's get those standbys ready, boys. The wait fleet comes around that corner, then 35 clones shoot at him right once. But Imperial guys, that's not. You brought a guys who shoot range 4, and if you can never use range 4, you feel like you just got hammered. So I like line of sight blocking. I don't like a super ton of it, just to give the other guy a chance, right? Whoever is playing a gun line. But fleets and Chewie, Wookiees do good there, and Chewies and them Chewie boys. But yeah, I honestly in the tier list, everything I thought for Rebels had a place. I feel like that's a really good state of the game where, so not every unit can be playable all the time at a high level. That's just not how. If a game ever was like that, God bless them for making a completely balanced game like that.
Yeah, but yeah, understood. Yeah,
but
I think that's a good.
I mean, remember back in the day when fleets were the most economic, efficient unit because they surge to hit, crit each through. I mean, surge to hit, surge to defense. They threw 2 white dice apiece, you're throwing like 12 dice, 2 red pierce 1. Great. Like, but now, geez. Like,
Well, because the range game and between
Yeah.
Tons and literally everything in Empire being range 4, you can't. It's real hard, and
Dude,
then terrain being terrain and being non-similar, and you know every terrain is unique. You may not have any line of sight blocking, so
Yeah.
getting your fleets up there is going to be impossible.
it's weird. So like, as much as we always talk about, I think you've even got it like not punched out yet, but like building a whole like docking station battlefield where it's just like hallways and stuff like that. The problem is those units go from unplayable to too good, right? Like they
right,
go,
and
they,
then
like, switch,
right anything with a what is it, huge base like the
is unplayable.
is
right?
unplayable
Like,
now.
so that's they're units that are in specific format, like in specific tables. Like if you want, I mean, I would love to play in a docking where you just have to tell the other guy, they're like, hey,
Right.
we're playing on like a spaceship. Don't
Right.
bring an ATS. Right? In those situations, awesome, man, they're real
Yeah.
good. But in most general take all comer situations, I just feel like they're not great.
Yeah.
Like, man, in the Imperial counterparts, like snowtroopers, I think they're still fine.
Yeah,
They're still fine.
I think the list dependent, but I've been thinking about them a lot lately too, especially with with droids.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, dude,
okay,
the ion gun is really funny. Or the
yeah,
flamethrower too. Like,
Flamethrower, okay.
oh,
Here's
that's so good. Actually,
here's 14 black dice coming at you.
because
Like,
you get 3 actions every turn, right? You move, shoot, move,
Yeah.
move, shoot. Who cares if you don't have a name? Eventually, you'll get there.
right,
And remember when we used to play, like when we first started, you used snows all the time. And I hated them because I just
Yeah.
I had to just hammer them. And then Vader's like walking up behind him.
right,
So either I shoot at Vader, he gets to me, makes me sad, or I ignore all these flame troopers. They get to me, and they make me sad, and I just can't. Red dice sometimes just say, I'm not gonna die.
Right.
All right. So that's that, and the comparable to Wookiees is IRG, and IRG are
better.
yeah, they're always because the Guardian, right? So they can keep guys. So you can just be extra hit points for your heroes, but also when they get into punching range, they surge to hit, I believe. Or do they not? Let me pull them
No,
up.
they don't surge.
Okay, the Wookiees do. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but they throw red dice though,
Right,
right? So it's like they give you the pokes, and they can be immune to pierce with in melee with their
Yeah.
electro staff. So that makes force users real sad. So like they've got that, and Wookiees do not
Right.
have that, right? Like,
well, I think sculpt is a problem on the Wookiees because you can see them no matter where you are.
So
like,
funny and so bad.
it's impossible not to see the Wookiees, so that's another problem. That, like, yeah, and I think there's just, unfortunately, sometimes with this game, certain units, like for instance Tons, like they just get everything,
Yeah.
and then some they like everything good, and then some units seem to just have everything bad about them, and like and you're
Yeah.
just like, okay, too many points. It's lightsaber or his arm is way up, so hard to hide him.
Dude.
Like there's all this crazy stuff about him that you're like, okay, well, I clearly can't take him.
Yeah, it's really, and it's I've been thinking about making a Hoth. I've really just done this Hoth thing because I think it's fun, and I live in the North Country, so it's Hoth like 6 months out of the year anyway for me. Yeah. So I was making a table, and I'm like, well, I'm thinking, and since I want everybody to be able to enjoy it, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
how do I build stuff? Where do I get stuff? And I'm like, I want some line of sight blocks, so buy a bunker, and I'm like, well. This just is like I put a Wookiee next to something I was just kind of like making out of
Yeah.
like wood. I'm like, no, he can still see over that. Like,
Yeah.
and so it's too bad. There's been whispers of maybe line of sight changing, kind of like maybe heads and torsos or something. I don't know. There's there's been some like whispers in the wind, even if it's just rumors on forums. So that would help them a lot because man, the worst part is you kill the lead Wookiee because you can just see his sword in the air. He dies, and the Wookiee behind him goes, oh. And picks up the sword, holds it above his, and then you kill him, and the Wookiee behind him goes, oh. Picks up the sword, and it's like, stop picking up the sword. It's kind of like the first guy you always kill in your Death Troopers is Grenade Man.
Right.
Because he's just kneeling, so he's hard.
It's
He's
just
hard line of
friggin'
sight.
useless. Yeah.
Right? So it's just like, I mean, I appreciate the different builds, and that actually adds some interesting ideas
Right.
to if that ever became a thing, like, hey, this squad's amazing, but like 4 guys are laying down or something, right? Like something weird where they're like, their poses or
Yeah.
something are very different. That'd be
Well,
very interesting area to explore.
And I'm wondering, because with the the new hard plastics, they're making it more posable and like different options. Maybe that'll be something.
Yeah, no, because that led me to believe that they'll eventually, like especially with Grievous, that they'll
Yeah.
eventually do something about the true line of sight, because man, like putting him with all his arms out is strategically worse than just doing the cloak and gun sword down
Visually,
one side, gun.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Like, man, and the worst part is I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 2 lately because the new update came out, and it's a lot of fun now. And Grievous is such a boss in that.
They
like,
will never get my money.
that's fair.
They will never get my money.
No, they took the loot boxes out now.
Sure they did.
Yeah, it's good. It's
They'll be back.
when Grievous does the spin up, like his ultimate, where it spins 2 and the other 2, like you just mulch like 4 or 5 clones. Like you're like, wow, I want that. Like the worst part is that game makes me excited for Legion, but it also makes me sad because you'll be a Wookiee and you're like icing guys because they've got the bowcaster, and you're like, Wookiees are really good, and you go to Legion like, man,
They're not that good.
They're okay.
Speaking of like seeing that for Legion, but do you find yourself? I think we all do, but this is more a rhetorical question for us to have a conversation about than an actual. I don't think you do this.
Sure.
So Mandalorian just finished up.
Mm-hmm.
Rise of Skywalker. We went and saw that. Do you find yourself going, oh yeah, that's gonna be good in Legion. Oh yeah, that's gonna be great in Legion.
I thought it's like, we joke about it. This is an E-Web heavy blaster. I was just waiting for him to be like, it rolls 1 red, 2 black, 2 white, surges to critical. It can get past that heavy cover you have easily. Like, I will give you till sundown to come out. Like,
yeah, he was very
it's so funny.
talky about that.
Yeah,
E-Web.
it's just really funny. Like, I mean, mad flex, but sure. So actually, yeah, like it was mostly Rise of Skywalker of all the Sith units that made me think like, I mean, they're just different paint job really from the normal First Order, but the Rocket Pack guys, the bikes.
Yeah.
So
those, this doesn't give anything away. This was in the trailer, but those like, when they're on that desert planet, they have these. They look like sand snowmobiles almost, right?
Super cool.
And then they like bust guys up into the they shoot guys up into the air.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Like they fly now line debatable, but
right.
that whole action scene was really cool, and like the Resistance got these skiffs, right, and they're just shooting off the skiffs. The first time I've seen the movie twice, maybe 3 times, because I need a third. I need to keep watching it to see if I really like it or hate it. I don't know.
Right.
But the second time I watched it, I started really looking. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for the First Order. I can't wait for this. This is gonna be so cool.
Yeah. Well, even like Mandalorian, because it's within the Resistance Galactic War, it can add some more stuff to the Galactic War era. Like they had that I forgot what episode it was, but they had that troop transport that like just kind of rolled in, and then all the stormtroopers like start coming out of it. Like that was cool.
Apparently that was an old toy that never made it, and then the guy just put it in there, and it's cool, right? Like,
yeah. I think spoilers I guess for Mandalorian real quick. So the last 2 episodes they had the Death Troopers in them, and man, were they Death Troopers, right? Like
finally they felt cool.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
and then they had that Flame Trooper guy that felt like a flame trooper. You're like, yep, this is how this works. Like I got, a lot of that stuff was just exciting, and seeing all these possible units and things that you could do, and
it's finally, like we're finally getting to the point where like Star Wars is like a lot of fun again, and like even like Fallen Order, like Second Sister and Cal, I would love them as heroes. Like, unfortunately, it's like a weird time where it's like he's not really a rebel, but he's just a Jedi, so he'd get lumped in with the rebels anyway, because that's just a good guy thing, right? Like, he'd be like an operative Luke who he just shows up, like, I don't care, I'm just gonna do Cal stuff. But you could have like sculpts for him with 1 lightsaber or the double-bladed lightsaber.
Yeah.
And you could have a little robot on him that could be rules BD1. I think that's just like, I'm so pumped for all this cool new stuff, and I haven't felt that way in a long time. Because like Last Jedi was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it quite a bit. And I like pretty much all Star Wars movies. I'm whatever, but you didn't really get a whole lot of like, oh man, right, things out of that movie where like these couple new ones, they're just like low key. They're like, we want to make toys. High key.
Yeah, Mandalorian and Rise of Skywalker were definitely toy like.
Yeah, I mean, the worst part is that's just the cynical me, like from all the years of old Star Wars stuff, where it's like, man, they've got a lot of stuff for Naboo. That's kind of strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I think they thought of the toys before they thought of the units, but it's cool because I'm even in the trailer for Rise of Skywalker, like the horses that they were charging
Yeah.
on. Like the Resistance is gonna get a Beast Trooper. Probably they could.
Yeah.
Right, like they could get one. Like they got guys and horses. There you go,
Right.
cavalry. Like
Well, and I think you definitely get some faction, but it's interesting because it seems like I don't know. I get it because like the rebels are always kind of like there's less of them. They don't have all the cool toys, right? So you're always looking at the rebels or the resistance or these other kind of the good guy faction, and you're like, yeah, we'll get some stuff, but
Yeah.
like it's like I mean, even with the resistance across the three
Dude,
movies, I don't even know that I could name
the
like
horses
enough
or the
units.
things, that was it, really.
Right.
Like, I mean, they have that skiff, but that was like it was like the technical, right? They just
Right.
took something and used it. So fortunately, like X-wing gets a lot out of it because they've got all these ships, right?
Yeah,
Even
right.
the trailer, they have all the ships, and the worst part, I'm like, oh, that's a Lancer Craft, Pursuit Craft, that's a VC-10. I'm just like boom, boom. I feel like a dork because I'm just like naming off all these like
If
ship
it makes
models.
you feel any better, you look like one too.
Perfect.
Oh,
All right.
ooh,
Well, as
hello.
long as I get the complete package.
That's a got him. Oh no, you do. You got the complete dork package
Oh, he's
from
doubling
head
down.
to toe,
Oh, okay.
inside and out.
I'm not wearing my Star Wars socks today that tell you to read, so that's a good thing. But like, there's no like X-wing. There's a lot of ships, right? Like they have the T-70.
Yeah.
You've got all that stuff. But for like Legion, there's Trooper with gun who looks a little bit more modern than
Right.
Rebel Trooper. Trooper with grenade launcher, maybe. Right? There's just not like all the because it's just the heroes, right, doing stuff. So it's just like
Yeah.
the main characters holding guns.
Right.
And then the First Order actually had guy with axe, guy with baton, traitor, TR80 or whatever his name was. Like, you got him. Like, you've got like they've shown so much stuff for the First Order, and so you really have to actually go into like, again, like we'll take Battlefront 2. So man, things that I'm hoping get into like Legion are the specialist droids, the like ninja ones that were in like episode 4 of Clone Wars, right? But for Resistance, they have like the heavy gunner.
Well,
they have,
I
like,
mean,
sniper.
right?
Like,
That's the thing for the prequels. Anything from the Clone War
It's fair
era,
game.
right? Well, and there's just so much.
yeah,
Like we were talking, I think, over on the Christmas episode and the episodes before about how like we would love a Gungan, and guess what? That can happen because. Like I mean, there's all this stuff from the prequels for different factions, for different units, for different.
yeah.
There's just tons and tons and tons and tons of material. Where Galactic Civil War, now they're getting a little bit more with Mandalorian. If they ever
Yeah.
do anything from Han Solo, they got some stuff, or
Jeez.
from the Solo movie, they got some stuff there.
Talk about something that didn't get anything
Oh
out
my
of it.
god, I know. And then so that'll keep going, but my concern is, everyone's waiting for like the new like Resistance and First Order, but okay, like how much stuff are they really gonna have? Like there isn't enough material yet.
I honestly think that they could just say, here's a First Order starter set, not anything with anything else. Like, I mean, it does, like, right, they always want you to make cores with 2 armies, and that's the way to get in.
Yeah.
But they could just say, hey, if you want First Order, you get Kylo Ren, you get Hux in a box, you get a couple cores, 2 or 3 cores, and like a tank or something, right? Like they could
So,
just say that's
yeah,
your starter for First
I think
Order.
a lot of people are gonna be upset, but I'm gonna say the following. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I say skip it.
Skip to that whole trilogy. The worst part is,
For a while. Until they
Yeah.
start building, until they like
well, the trilogy's like done.
right.
That's
Until they have
that's-
something else to build out that world, the new world, skip it.
I guess
I would like okay, because we know at Adepticon they're gonna announce something new, or Gen Con, right? So
Yeah, at
the
least Gen Con,
Adepticon,
yeah.
that's when they generally announce their new
miniature line.
big thing, right? So let's say Adepticon, they're gonna announce their next core set. I wouldn't even do Resistance First Order. I would do like Gungans and
Geonosians.
Geonosians. Yeah, or yeah, like do 2 new factions. Don't do
I'm honestly think they're at the point where they could just release like GW does, and just like, here's a faction. It's not a 2-player starter. Here's your everything.
yeah,
to
maybe
start the
stop
faction.
doing the starter kits and just do
You
yeah.
could like right, like we've got 4 armies, and I'm not saying there's so much more room for people to get into this game besides like starters, but you could say like, hey, everyone wants a Scum and Villainy faction, right? You could just say it doesn't need to be a starter. Just be like, hey, here's the Hutts, here's the Black
Right.
Suns, here's because the extended universe that they can pick and choose from, right?
Right.
It's just like, here's First Order. You don't necessarily need the Resistance. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's got the main heroes, but like you've got, man, I could rattle off, like, you got Hux as your like middle management guy. You got Phasma as your like warrior commander kind of thing. You've got Kylo Ren as your like Sith. Like,
Yeah,
your
and so I feel
lightsaber.
like here's my problem. Like, okay, in let's say March, they're so far behind now. If they do announce, let's say
Yeah,
even new
dude.
factions, like we haven't even like scraped the top of the iceberg of Clone Wars. Like
Yeah.
Maul's still not there, Anakin's still not there. Mace Windu, all the Jedi. Like
You were gonna
there's,
say Qui-Gon Jinn,
I was gonna say
weren't
Qui-Gon
you? Yeah,
Jinn, but then I was like, oh, man.
Qui-Gon. Hey, why not? Like,
He was good, sure,
Yeah.
okay, but like none of the Jedi are in there. We don't even have a Yoda yet. Like we don't have. There's so much more to do just for the 4 factions that are out now. Like, I think you could almost just not announce any more
you could.
factions.
I mean, when we first watched the Gen Con stream, we were, I think both and I were both a little underwhelmed at the release. It was cool, like the tank and like the B2s, but it was nothing. Like the most surprising thing to me was like the bunker, and I'm like, wow, they're gonna make me buy 2 of those, aren't they? Right? Like that was
Right.
like and the R2D2 C3PO, and like, oh, it comes with a piece of terrain I don't want. Right?
Right.
That was the surprising thing to me.
Yeah.
Like honestly, they they say, hey, we're not gonna do new factions. We're gonna just give Clone Wars and maybe a couple surprises for the Civil
sure,
War.
yeah.
Right? And they say like, here's this. We're holding our hands up against the
Oh man,
heater. It's
the
fine.
Heater.
It's fine.
That's the heater, everybody.
They could say like, here's new heroes. They could give
Yeah.
each side 2 new heroes. They could go. I mean, right now, once Cassian comes out, you could do Rogue One. Like you could have a whole Rogue One army. Pathfinders, Cassian, KTSO, Jyn Erso.
Yeah.
They could just release. I'm gonna.
So if everybody's
Shit.
wondering, he just started to stutter, and I
Yeah.
got the biggest grin on my face because we just launched a couple cartoon characters about what's about to happen.
It's Chirrut, and
It's Churro and Blaze.
is it Churro Blaze?
Churro and Blaze. Just say Churro and Blaze.
Churro Blaze. Is it Chirrut? Am I saying it? Is that
I'm
Chirrut?
gonna tell you.
No, Chirrut and his buddy. Saying Chirrut and his buddy. But honestly, you could,
Churro and Blaze. If you guys want to know what Churro and Blaze look like, go up to the 5th Trooper Facebook
why
page.
don't you click like and give us a subscribe and
Yeah.
hit the bell about Churro and Blaze? But they could have like a whole Rogue One army, right? Like they could
Yeah.
announce just stuff that you could do that's cool. I mean, there's like just so much, right? Like so. It is as much as
Yeah.
a guy who just wants new shiny stuff. I'd say new faction. I'm like, hey, yeah, more, consume for me, please. Like, getting like there's like the droid specialists, like right, like all the clone special units like ARC troopers, jump pack troopers. There's even like clone commandos. Like the minute so one of my favorite Star Wars games was Republic Commando, where you played that group of 4 commandos.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome, and you can get it on like anything now for like $6. It's old. Play through it though. One of the best, cool Star
Yeah.
Wars like Star Wars meets Apocalypse Now kind of scenarios.
So it's funny, like we've talked about this before, but like it's just like overwhelming thinking about all the stuff that's coming out because like at first when I'm like, I'm gonna buy everything that they produce for this game.
yeah.
Now it's like
Oops.
I'm gonna buy maybe 2 factions, possibly 3, depending on where the droids go.
Yeah.
But-
like it's thing is I'm like, well, I'll do clones and rebels because they're opposite play styles.
Yeah.
Right. And because I had some Imperials, I kind of stopped. I don't have any Shores, and I really need some of those. But then all this cool stuff comes out. Like I didn't really want to play droids, but then they announced B2s, and I'm like, oh, those look pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the droids, I was really looking forward to because I wanted troop carriers, and I love all that stuff.
You know it's coming.
And I'm still kind of okay, but like it's funny as someone whose formidable years, teen years, where I grew up on, the prequels. But I had up until I was 13, 12 or something like that, 12 or 14, I don't know. I'd only seen original Star Wars, and that
Yeah.
was the Star Wars I knew. And then the prequels came out, and then my teens through my 20s. That's kind of what I watched those. But like I am hardcore Civil War. Like I just love the Rebels and Empire, and I love
And
everything they've put out for
That's
it.
okay, right? Like that's what's cool about Legion is, you can just be like, I'm just a Rebel player, and you have a lot of great tools. And
Yeah.
you know what, man? I get being a Rebel and Imperial and seeing clones get all these new units. Like, where are my stuff? Dude, like you've got so much, right?
Right.
Like, just
Well,
let them have some.
The
stuff.
other thing too is I realized this lately, and I know I get it. Mandalorian is really good, but like it just speaks to me on a different level. Like same with Solo, because it's kind of in that era that if
It's just like nothing. No war is really happening.
well yeah,
like,
but
just cool stuff.
the whole like the original trilogy and Mandalorian and Solo, like that whole style, like that whole, it's kind of like I think Mandalorian more represents this, but like that kind of like Western / samurai type, approach to
Yeah.
like a storytelling.
Sure.
And I think Solo and the original trilogy kind of followed that same thing. I think that just speaks to me more, and so like
Sure.
I'm just more excited about that era of Star Wars than I am about the prequels or even about the new trilogy. Like I'm more excited about the like Mandalorian blew my mind. I loved that show.
Well, it's cool because it's like Outer Rim, like all the wars happening, in the main core systems. Like Outer Rim didn't really change much, right? Like, even with like nothing really, the Outer Rim is just Wild West, no matter what's
Right.
happening, right?
Right.
And they could do a whole like faction of just Outer Rim, right? That it'd be interesting. Like, there's just a lot of room for them to do stuff. And I'm just gonna be excited to see what they do. Like, I that new mission pack coming out even looks cool. Like,
Yeah.
so I really need more cards, right? So I want command decks to be like, I'm like, oh, you're playing
Surprising.
that. I have no idea what you're gonna put on
Yeah.
the table. Now I'm like, okay, no one likes that one, so you're not gonna play that one. No one likes that one, so you're not gonna play that. Right? There's no like, I'm never like, oh, you took that.
Right.
That's-
Right. Which it will be, right? Coming
Yeah.
soon. So
I mean, they showed like one danger close. Looks like you start at range 3 of each other, so you can start just start firing.
yeah.
The hostage
gonna be
exchange
wild.
seems cool. Like, it's cool, interesting objectives that aren't just grab thing run.
Yeah.
I remember I was playing Pat, and he was like his first game, and he came to a tournament, and we're both playing clones. We almost had a very similar army, and I ran up with Obi, grabbed the box, and ran. And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "How do I get that back?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I got to kill Obi." He's like, "I can't." And I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah.
I'm like, "This is."
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
like
can't.
it's-
You're right. I can't. I think there's tons of great stuff coming out. I'm really excited about everything. It's all gonna dump like crazy at once because they're so delayed on everything. But we will see. Very exciting. All right, I think we can wrap it up here. Nice little short episode for New Year's Day.
For the New Year's Day. Let's see. Before we go, we'll both be at Just Games. I'll be thinking I'm gonna go to the Hooded Goblin up for that event.
So January 11th, Just Games in Rochester, New York.
Yep.
Hooded Goblin, that's near
That's-
Toronto
yeah, that's
on
the next
January the next weekend, the 18th.
And then February 2nd is Millennium Games, or February 1st. I'm sorry.
So, well, first before that, we'll be at, a number of us will be at LVO
Yep.
at the end of January.
Yep.
If you're not, if you're in the Vegas area for any reason, or if you're going to play Warhammer or whatever, 40K or whatever, come say hi. And then February 1st, Millennium Games in Rochester. One of us or both of us will be at that one.
Yep. And then we have our local store,
February 8th.
which anybody who's willing to drive, we're more than happy to have you up. And
Yeah,
play.
we got the space tables. It'll
yeah.
be great.
We're happy to play.
I believe we're going to have a good kit for that one, hopefully.
Yes. So we're
Fingers
hoping,
crossed.
Man, what I like is these premium kits aren't, from what I've heard from retailers, aren't real expensive, and they come with dice.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're a retailer, like,
Ooh, yeah.
and I want dice, right?
Right.
Like, X-Wing dice, you can only win them at regionals. Like, to even get a couple cool dice is fun, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Meow, meow.
Get my paws on some of those.
Meow, meow, meow.
All my dice are actually, like, so beat at this point, they're all getting cracked and broken.
Yeah.
Nice, I'll call it chippy. But, all right, cool, yep, that's all I
Okay.
wanted to...
Thanks, Evan.
Yep, no problem. You got it, bud.
All right, everybody, have a good week.
Everyone, stay rad.
Join us next week for another edition of the Fifth Trooper podcast.
This has been a Fifth Trooper production.